Hi, welcome back to Parenting Solutions. I'm Carmen. Today I want to talk about using consequences to teach coping skills. I grew up under that age old idea of do what I say and kids should only be seen and not heard. Whereas when I was growing up, I could see it had its place. That doesn't mean it was necessarily the right thing to do. Now we grow up under this new era where a child's mental health and emotional health is taken into consideration at all turns, as it should be. We should also not lose sight of the fact that we're not just raising children, but we're raising future adults. And teaching them when they're younger to deal with situations and to have coping skills for those situations isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like when a group of toddlers get together and one toddler hits another, we are all of the understanding that that happens because the toddlers are overstimulated. So instead of saying, no, don't do that, as if they understand that, come here, bud. Let's sit down and take a quick break. Sit them next to you for about 20 or 30 seconds. Allow their body to calm down so they're not so overstimulated. And then let them go play some more. The point is not to punish them, but to teach them a coping skill. So, by taking them and having them sit next to you for 20 or 30 seconds, you're teaching them to de escalate themselves and regulate their body. Now, the more you do this, the more you add steps to it. As they get used to sitting next to you for 30 seconds, you move them farther away from you. Don't leave them, just move them. And they're going to be upset if they're being withdrawn from play. That's how every kid feels. And this is just a pause. Never put a child on pause for longer than 3 minutes. They have little brains and they move on to the next thing really fast. I don't care how old they get. If you're going to ask a 6-year-old to take a break, to take a pause, keep it at 3 minutes. They get bored, and that's when behaviors start to happen themselves. You also teach that by role modeling the behavior. You want them to regulate, you have to show them how to regulate. And that doesn't mean waiting for them to be de-escalated and then telling them what they did wrong. That means every day. Wow, feeling kind of overstimulated today. I think I'm going to take a pause and then go sit for a minute or two and then show them how to react afterwards. Man, I feel better. Now I can think and things can get done. By role modeling the behavior you expect to have, that's the behavior you're going to get. When you move into school age children, that looks a little different because then you're leaning more towards the consequence side. Even though it's called a consequence, which I understand means get them, get them, get them, it's a learning experience. If little Tommy comes home and you found out he hit a child at school, that obviously has to be followed up by something. Saying things like, I don't like the fact that you hit Johnny. And I don't think that there was any good reason that you could have to have put hands on another person. So since you made the choice to hit somebody, you made the choice to lose your switch for the rest of the day. And I hope tomorrow you have a better day. And then you move on. You take the switch and you move out and about the day. And then the next day, you take them to school and you say, I hope you have a really great day at school today. And let's keep our hands to ourselves and use our words instead. Hug them, kiss them, and send them on their way. You see, in that situation, I didn't rehash what he had done. I just simply reminded him that we don't do that. and what I expected him to do instead. Just that simple. Are all issues that simple? No. But are a good chunk of them? Yes. When you have a child that has issues regulating themselves due to a diagnosis, you have to get a little more creative. You want to see any child, and I don't care how old they are, throw a fit, use the word no. Get creative. Don't say no. Say anything but no. But make sure they know that it's not going to happen. I hear that this is what you want. Tell you what, let's look at your behaviors and see if this is something that you have earned. Just that simple. And if it has, compromise. If it hasn't, say it. Don't lie. Be honest, because that's what you want to teach them to do. Looking at preteens and teenagers, that area is a little harder because they have so many voices in their head. They have your voice, their friend's voice, their teacher's voice. They have so many voices and so many mixed emotions and so many hormones. It's just hard for them. That doesn't mean they don't require consequences for their behavior, but it means you have to be a little bit more understanding about those consequences. If you want to ground Timmy from his phone, that's fine. But if you take his phone away for a month, who's being punished? You are. A, because you have to keep that because follow through is a thing. And B, when he's out with his friends, you won't know where he's at for that entire month. So that's not a realistic situation. But if you took Timmy's phone for 3 days, that's realistic. By the end of day one, he'll be twitching because he hasn't been on social media, but it will be less time. And to be honest, after the third day, they're not going to learn any more than they did before. Grounding it for a month doesn't teach them a lesson any better. If you get into a situation where you're trying to take something and your child refuses to give it to you physically, do not engage. Do not find a creative way around it. You want their phone and they won't give it to you. Well, you should have an app on your phone that allows you to control their phone. Most family plans have that app. Pause the service. Jump over and change the Wi-Fi password real fast. Problem solved. This way, the phone is unusable. So you won, but you didn't have to get physical and you didn't have to escalate the situation to make it happen. Same with video game controllers. They won't give you that. Take the power cord. Can't use it. Is that going to stop them from yelling and screaming and having a fit? Absolutely not. The first few times will be hard, but just don't engage. As long as they're not causing damage to your home themselves or somebody else, it doesn't matter that they're yelling. When they were toddlers, you'd ignore the screaming fit. It should be no different now. Catch them being good. All ages. I don't care, 0 to 25. All ages. Catch them being good. When you hear about them doing something good, when you see them do something good, tell them. Tell them how proud you are. The more you tell them how good they are, the more good you'll see. Because if all you tell me is how bad I am, that's all you're going to see. Remember to role model the behaviors that you want to see. If walking away is a problem for them, teach them. using words like, I'm overstimulated or I'm upset. I think I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go for a walk around the block, kind of get some fresh air, and we'll revisit this conversation when I get back. And that way, they know you're going to come back and talk about it again, but you've also taught them, give it a second to chill. See, consequences don't have to be some big, terrible thing, and I will never, ever advocate to put hands on your child. But there are different ways in which you can teach them their lessons while giving them the respect that you want to receive in return.